On this week's Try This, we're going to be discussing the Cleveland Browns. After a large amount of offseason wheeling and dealing, they still have an 0-2 record to start off the season. A large amount of this blame comes from their offense, which has only scored 28 points in the last 2 games they played. Their passing offense isn't so much to blame for this as they're ranked 13th in the NFL. The biggest problem is their running game. Despite the large amount of athleticism they've got on their roster, they have only averaged 88.5 yards per game the past 2 weeks, ranked 22nd in the NFL. Now, this formation would kind of spread out their athletes and put up different mismatches that would allow them to exploit advantages in the defense and take full advantage of all the speed they have. First of all, this is very similar to Miami's Wildcat formation with the original, with Ronnie Brown in the shotgun, Ricky Williams in the slot motioning over. We reversed this so the formation starts on the right because Joshua Cribbs, former Kent State quarterback, also now one of the most electrifying kick and punt returners in the league, is a right-handed passer, whereas Ronnie Brown is left-handed, so that formation favored a left-handed passer. So now we have a standard 3-4 defense here because both Pittsburgh and Baltimore employ that. Because of all the runners, even Seneca Wallace, their quarterback, who is an outstanding athlete, even switched to receiver for a while in Seattle and played well at that position. He's able to go out there. He can run deep and stretch the field if necessary, or he can run with the ball if you move him and motion him into the backfield. You've got all kinds of possibilities here. But because there's so many runners, defenses can't afford to put in another defensive back, put in a nickel formation. So they're stuck in their 3-4 formation, which automatically gives them a disadvantage. Now you can start off with motion by Harrison. Of course, very similar to the Wildcat here. When the ball's snapped, Cribbs can either keep the ball or hand it off to Harrison, who would then run on a sweep. Now, the blocking for this play would look like this. The right guard going up to the next level of defense to keep this hole from getting filled up. You'd have tight end Benjamin Watson, brought over from the Patriots this offseason. Bump the linebacker and then run and see what happens there. Now, what Cribbs wants to look at, now this is a split-second decision he has to make. This is why playing in the NFL is so much harder than fans realize. On this play, as he gets the snap and before he hands off the ball to Harrison, so in the split second, he has to look at these 2 linebackers and this safety. This safety creeps up here. He knows the formation's loaded against the run on this side, and so he might be better keeping it himself. Now, you could have your outside linebacker come out, your inside linebacker either fill this hole. He won't really be relevant if you hand the ball off to Harrison, so that would take him out of the play even though he'd shoot the gap. Now here, this is more of a zone block by tight end Evan Moore, who was targeted 3 times, caught 3 passes against Tampa Bay in week 1. So he's already had experience playing this offense. Quarterbacks seem to like him. And so you have him block the outside linebacker. Now you could have a thing where the outside linebacker comes and crashes inside, in which case that leaves a hole open here, a running lane. So he has to watch where these 3 players go and make a decision based on that instantaneously. Now, if he keeps it and runs, he can either run to the outside or the inside, so that's why he has to watch the other inside linebacker, as well as this safety. This safety creeps up here. Cribbs can audible and send receiver Muhammad Massaquoi on a deep route, a go route, and have it play like that. Or he can run up the middle depending on what the situation is. So that adds a little versatility. Now, in 2008, against the Houston Texans, the Miami Dolphins ran a play where they had Williams go into motion as he normally does. Obviously, the formation's reversed here, but the concept's the same. With the quarterback out wide, Williams took the pitch, the handoff, ran like he was running on a sweep, pitched the ball to the quarterback, who then stepped around a little bit, threw it to the tight end on a deep route. So that gives you another play that could happen, but with Seneca Wallace being right-handed, just the angle is easier if you send Watson on the deep route instead of Moore. Now, the advantage to when the Dolphins did this, they had Chad Pennington as the quarterback. The advantage here, of course, is you got Seneca Wallace, so not only can he send him on the deep route, if that doesn't work, he doesn't have to worry about getting smacked behind the line of scrimmage. He can scramble and buy time. Of course, after a while, coaches have tons of film study, time to dissect this offense, And so that's why you keep the blocking the same, so none of the offensive linemen give away what the play is. Now, if you keep the same blocking, but let's say you have Cribbs keep the ball, fake the handoff, Harrison runs as if he's doing a sweep to the left. At that point, the defense knows, more likely than not, Cribbs is going to run up the middle, to the right, etc. So to completely surprise him and take him off guard, have Cribbs run straight to the left. All of a sudden, this becomes a power formation. You've got three men blocking on the left side. Wallace, big enough guy to handle a cornerback. Harrison can take on the safety or the linebacker. Moore can take on the other of the two. And all of a sudden, you've got this play that is completely different from what's been seen before. Now, on top of that, you could completely fool the defense. Have Wallace go into motion. And again, you can snap, fake the handoff, or run with it, or keep it. And Cribbs could run left, stretch defense, or Wallace can run to the right on the sweep. And he could either pitch it to Harrison on a reverse, or he could make the decision between running or throwing it to Massaquoi or Watson. So this is a huge variety of ways in which the athleticism on the field would allow the running game to open up holes for the passing attack and make the Cleveland Browns offense so much more productive than it is with its rather stale play calling of Wallace just dropping back in the pocket. His athleticism is too good to waste. He's not a bad passer. His ball placement is excellent. He throws with nice velocity. He has really awkward looking throwing motion, but he gets the ball where it needs to be and puts a nice zip on it. So his only problem is when, as a standard drop back passer, he drops back incredibly fast and gets rid of the ball almost immediately, which means plays don't exactly develop. And so there's no real deep threat, which just because he gets rid of the ball so fast, which takes it out of the play guys like Cribbs usually. So as a whole, this offensive system allows plays to develop a little more, get the ball where it needs to go, and attack holes all over the field. So this would be a huge benefit to the Browns offense. That's all for this week. This is Hank Kobler with ExtraPointFootball.com.